welcome. Hey, that's Tio, right? I cannot tell you two apart. Oh, you're both right there. Oh, sweet. Hi. Do you remember me? I think you've seen me a few times.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, good. Let me make sure this is recording on my other screen. Let's see, gallery. Sometimes this gets so confusing with two separate screens going here. Where is my exit full screen? All right, I saw you guys popping in. I was just finishing up the younger class. Sorry, my dog, my little watchdog. She's an 8-pound watchdog. She's very noisy. I saw you guys popping in. I was finishing up, but I need to stop that class so we have separate recordings. So it looks like this is recording. Let me get you back up. Big screen here. I'm glad you found me. So we use the same link for every class, okay? So if you can hang on to that, or your mom will have it in email. We'll use the same link for every class. In fact, it's the same one for the little kids too. I think we will have one or two more, but they might not necessarily join us because I know one gal has a class, I think either until 11 or at 11. I think she'll be able to paint with us next time. So she'll probably be watching us, watching the recording of us doing this. So I think this will work. All right, so have you had a chance to look through your kit?
Yes.
Okay. And you've got your, I've used this one, but I just wanted to show. So you've got your journal, and I really encourage you guys to get practice observing things. What I was telling the littler kids is try and spend like 10 or 15 minutes once a week. That's not a whole lot. Getting into your journal, and wherever you left off in class, pick up and just sit and draw a little bit. Try and fill this journal up. It really helps students learning to draw or paint, especially if you really want to get into painting. It helps to start with drawing, okay? There's an eye-hand coordination going on that takes practice to develop that skill. So we will talk about, there's some things that we talked about last semester with the other kids, and I'll kind of go over some of that here today. Also with the other kids that are going to be joining us, just watching the recording, they'll have the information. So how about we start a little bit about me, because I think the three of you don't know me real well. So my name's Julie, and I'm actually a nurse. I'm a trained nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I work out at the college. But I took every art class I could take growing up. When I got to high school, I started to think about, could I do this for a living? And by 12th grade, I ended up taking 2 hours of art both semesters and loved it. It was I don't know, it was my Zen time. We got to spend the whole time drawing or doing modeling, like clay. We did jewelry stuff, and it was just my most favorite. I couldn't imagine doing that for a living. Well, I went to college for art, graphic design, and I found it so competitive that it scared the crap out of me. It was too competitive. And I just thought I was not good enough. I'm never going to be good enough, and I'm never going to be able to get a job doing this because I'm not good enough. So I switched to nursing, and I became a nurse. I would like to say I am kind of reliving my dream of getting back into art. I started about 2.5 years ago. I got back in, and I've done a little bit on and off over the years, but raising 6 kids and homeschooling them, almost all of them the whole time, I don't have a lot of time. But I lost my mom to cancer almost 3 years ago. And what I found really helpful is getting back into my art. And I had gone to a couple of her art classes. She had art groups when she moved to Merced. She lived in Merced her last 3 years. And I went to her art group, and she just got together and painted with. And in fact, if you want to put your mic on mute, then you don't have to worry about the sound, and it won't bother me. So go ahead and mute it if you like. So anyways, I did some drawing with her while she painted, while the others were painting. And I did a drawing of my dog. And it's like, oh, this is kind of fun, but I didn't take it seriously. And then, oh gosh, after she died, probably 3-4 months later, I decided, well, let's get back into my laptop, which I was talking to your mom about. I have a Surface Pro that came with a drawing pen, drawing painting, and you can change you can make it different brush strokes. I haven't totally figured out all the brush strokes, but I use what I use because it works enough for me. And I started drawing my dogs. I inherited my mom's dog, so now I have 2 little dogs, 2 little crazy dogs. And I did a drawing of each of them. It's like, oh, this is kind of fun. I think I might have even posted it on Facebook. It's like, yeah, kind of doing a little more art. And then I decided to, I think Pauline, she had me draw her cat. And so I painted it digitally on my laptop, and she paid me for it. So the drawing of her cat was my very first sale of artwork ever. And it was just a couple years ago. And I took a picture of that too, that $10 bill with my painting. And then it kind of took off. I ended up doing more paintings digitally on my laptop of friends and family in different states. I grew up in Michigan, so I've got family in Michigan that I did some. I did one in Florida. Who else? Somewhere, I think Washington. And then yours, yes. But that I had a lot more practice till I did yours. And I was afraid to get into the paint to actually do the paintings, but I was really getting the hang of the digital part of it. So what I would do is I made the artwork, and then I don't know if you guys use Walgreens to print photos. I ordered it through Walgreens, and then my family or friends would I'd order it so they could pick it up at their local Walgreens. And so it was printed on photo paper, and they picked it up and framed it. And that's how I kind of got started. Now, when I started thinking of different things if I could make it into a business, what could I teach people? And so I started doing the paint parties and stuff a year and a half ago or so. And then I decided to work on some ideas for co-op for homeschoolers. So that's what brought me to here where we are right now. I'm still kind of working on my I guess curriculum, you would call it, for drawing. I do love drawing, but I think I love painting more. But like I said earlier, it really helps if you start with drawing and you can really get good at drawing. It will really help your painting. So I know Tio is working with are you both using the laptop?
Oh, no, I am.
You are? And you're Tio?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to, I don't know. Give me time. I'll try and recognize each of you. So, yes, keep working with that. If you can find any, either in YouTube or just Google, find different people that do some different things digitally. I wish I could hire my daughter, but she's so busy working nighttime that she's still teaching right now, I think. She teaches English to China, kids in China and Turkey. And, oh my gosh. Someone's trying to join in our class on my phone. Hang on 1 second. Hello, Allison. Hi. Do you hold on, hold on. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, 1 second. um let me see if I can turn my music down. Oh my goodness. Do, 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 do. Hold on, Allison. Okay, now I think I can hear you. Oh, oh shoot. All right, let me hop over. See if I can get that. Let me see if I can pull it up. So it didn't connect right away. Okay. Let's see if I can find it easily. Okay. There's the. Let me see if I can try this number. Copy. I'm going to share it with you over here. Yeah, Allison's daughter is trying to join us, but she wasn't able to get in for some reason. Go over here. Actually, no. There you are. Oh, okay. I'm going to send this in text as soon as I hang up, okay? And see if this number will help. Otherwise, I might have to. No, I don't. Yeah, go ahead. Uh huh. Uh huh. 2547. Okay. Okay. And if all else fails, I'll make sure you get the recording of it, and then then we'll get it figured out outside the class. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Allison. All right. Bye bye. All right. Let me see if I can message her. It's getting a little bit techie. I think over here. There. Right here. All right. Okay. I think I got this. Okay, so drawing, digital. So if you can, like I said, I wish my daughter would be able to teach. She uses a pad that's Wacom. It starts with a W. I can't remember. She started with a bamboo. So if you look, just to kind of give you an idea, and look in Amazon, it's called Bamboo, and it's a smaller pad that it connects to your PC. So you look at the screen, but then you draw down on the pad itself. So I don't know, I don't think that's anything with your laptop. I think your laptop works like mine, where you just draw right on the screen. So this thing connects to your PC. So you draw down here, and then you're looking at what you're drawing. It seems like it would be hard, kind of weird eye-hand coordination, but it works. And I got her a more expensive one, the one that starts with a W. I forget the name of it. So if you're really looking into more digital stuff, Tio, then do a Google search for the bamboo one, and it'll tell you kind of what it allows you to do. And so if you graduate from what you're doing now and you want more, oh god, just the software you can get for these things, it's amazing. It totally looks like paint. So I think let me get this off my screen, and we're going to get started drawing. So do you have your journal out? Get your journal, open it up to either on the inside cover, I don't care, where you want to draw. Today is the 15th. Okay. And like I told the kids earlier, I use a lot of my partial sheets of paper to use up. I save, if I only use half of it, I save and we'll use it for drawing here. I realize it's not super close. I wish I could get it closer, but my camera doesn't want to zoom in very close. So what we're going to start with, I want to mention a little bit about our artist, Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo grew up way back in the 1400s, so the 15th century. He got his name, Leonardo da Vinci, is actually, so when they gave names, they really gave, just the given name was that child's name. And you notice Da Vinci is not really a last name. It is where he lived. So he's from Italy. And can you guys picture where Italy is on the map? Do you remember it? It's a boot-shaped country. It's a peninsula country. And it's in kind of within the Mediterranean Sea. And in Italy, well, he lived all over Italy. But being from Vinci, that is where they get Da Vinci. Da means of in a few different languages, so he's Leonardo of Vinci. They didn't really use a family name for a last name per se, but they did. From what I read, he was. It's best to just refer to him by Leonardo, because of Vinci, we don't really care where he was from. So Leonardo, he was born in 1452, long time ago. Oh, she got in. Oh, there's Autumn. Yay! Autumn, you found us. Oh, I'm so happy. All right. And if you want to be in the screen, you can go ahead and share your screen with me. And you can put it on mute unless you have a question. All right, so Leonardo da Vinci, we just started talking about him. He lived in the 1400s. He was born in 1452. He lived until 1519, which makes him 67 years young. He died way too young. So we unfortunately missed out, I think, on many years of more art from him. But he is known as one of the great masters, especially even he created works from mechanical things and drawings that there are drawings on paper, but even now there is no way that he could have made those mechanical things work with the technology that they had, or the lack of technology, because there wasn't a lot of technology there. Just more simple mechanics. He learned from, I think, 4 different cities throughout Italy that I saw. Some of these cities might sound familiar to you. So there's Florence, Milan, Rome, and Venice. Those are all different cities that he studied under different masters. He became apprentice at the age of 17. And he apprenticed for 7 years. And I mean, I imagine my 17-year-old studying under a great master artist. It kind of blows my mind. So I think that's pretty amazing for such a young age to be drawing and learning under a great master. Not only did he draw and paint, he did drafting and chemistry. He learned about metals and how to make metals, and then actually sculpt with them as well, metalworking. He made plaster casting. He worked with leather. I mentioned the mechanics, simple mechanics of how things worked. He worked with wood. In fact, Mona Lisa is painted on wood. I did not even realize that. And not to be boastful, but I saw Mona Lisa in Paris in the Louvre, that really big art museum. Have you heard of the Louvre in Paris? Mona Lisa is in there, and Mona Lisa is about, it's kind of hard to tell because my camera doesn't make that much space, but I would say Mona Lisa is about this big. It's a small painting. I expect it to be like half the size of a wall. It is very small. And there's a big crowd of people kind of hovering over it. So I was kind of unimpressed with it. The colors were the same as what you see. They look kind of muted, but how old is that? It's, 600 years old? I think I read comments that when he used oil for this painting, some of the pigment has broken down, so it could very well have been much more vibrant than what we see here in the picture. But you'll see the colors are very muted that you have for your paint for next time. In over 600 years, you are likely to have your paint break down a little bit. So unfortunately, it is not super vibrant. They did use lots of a very different kind of pigment from what we have with paints these days. Now we will be using acrylics the whole time. I have not even tried oil painting. I work with watercolors. My mom used to do oils. I just remember our basement smelling like oil paint and turpentine. It was so stinky. So I think that's kind of a little bit prevented me from trying oils. But he worked in oils. Mona Lisa is done in oils. I don't know, being new into art, there's some famous masters that he studied with. Leonardo studied with Botticelli, which is one I remember studying in school. See if I can get these names right. Ghirlandaio, Perugino, and Verrocchio. Some very Italian names. He studied under them to learn, and that is how they didn't go to college necessarily. In later years, there were universities for them to go study at in art school, but for the most part, they studied underneath these masters and became assistants, which is really interesting. The famous, like when Leonardo was older and more famous, he had assistants paint a lot for him, and he might do some more detailed work, but he had other people painting their paintings. That's how it worked back in those days. He worked with Michelangelo. Does that name sound familiar? It should. Another famous master. When he was 20, he became qualified as a master in an art group, what they called art guilds back then. He was a master at 20 years old. So he spent about 47 years being a professional. That's just amazing. Many people consider Leonardo the universal genius and one of the greatest painters of all times. Just a few more things I want you to know about Leonardo and Mona Lisa. How much do you think that painting is worth right there? Million? Couple million? Get ready for this. How about 860 million? $860 million if someone were to buy that. Crazy. Like, whew. Too bad he has to be dead for it to be worth that much money, huh? I don't know that any of my work when I'm gone will be worth 800 million, let alone maybe $10. All right, so he also painted The Last Supper. I don't know if you're familiar with The Last Supper. Is a very, very famous religious painting of Jesus' Last Supper, and it's the most reproduced painting ever. It's been reproduced for printing. People buy the prints of it. Obviously, I don't know how much that one was worth, but so he's a very, very well-known, well-renowned painter, and his stuff is worth a lot of money. He designed some flying machines, a fighting vehicle, like an armored fighting vehicle, solar power, even way back in the 1400s. Even he designed on paper an adding machine. He didn't have the technology to make it work, but he drew it and he drew the parts for it. And he's also given credit for inventing the parachute, the helicopter, and an army tank, which I thought was interesting. He made a lot of discoveries in anatomy, which we're going to be working on the human body. And civil engineering, like engineers, people that work as engineers. He has some discoveries for that. Geology, optics, and hydrodynamics. I did not look that word up, but it has to do with the water and probably how water moves. He died at the age of 70 or 67, I mentioned, of a stroke. So it is really too bad that he died so young and left us without more art. So we are going to get right in with our exercises. With drawing class, we do some exercises to kind of get warmed up. Like I mentioned earlier, it's always good to practice drawing because it will really help your painting skills, your drawing skills. Just like anything, if you're going to warm up to do a run, you got to get those muscles warm. You can't just go out and run a sprint because you'll pull a muscle. I don't think you'll pull a muscle drawing, but it is good to get warmed up and it gets your hand moving, your fingers working, holding that pencil. So what I did with the other kids, I want you to think of a coffee mug. I don't want you to look at one yet, okay? Think of a coffee mug and what it might look like, and we're going to draw simply from memory, okay? So wherever you're going to start in your journal, let's draw a coffee mug from memory. So I like to, and you don't have to look at mine really, just kind of think of what a coffee mug looks like. I'm going to make a round shape, and I've got one sitting next to me that I used from class. I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to look straight ahead. So I've got kind of a circle shape I'll start with. Some coffee cups are so many shapes and sizes. I'm just going to make a round bottom, okay? Making cylinder shapes. This is a cylinder shape, right? A cup, a glass, any glass is usually a cylinder shape. It has a round top, a round bottom. I'm going to connect the sides, real basic here. And I'm going to give it a handle. And these are just line drawings, is all we're doing here. A line drawing. I'm showing the opening of the handle. It does have some thickness. It's got an outside line, inside line, so it has an opening for my hand to grab through. All right. Now, what do you think? When you're done with yours, show me, and I'm going to have you go grab a coffee cup to actually look at. All right. There you go. Yep, pretty much like mine, right? It's got a round top, kind of a round bottom, handle, round handle. I made it kind of a half circle shape handle. Doesn't matter. So go take a quick minute and go grab it. You guys can share the same coffee cup. So grab a coffee mug, empty, because we're going to do some other things with it. Don't have any coffee or water in it. Need to get a drink. Thinking of water. Perfect. So put that in front of you. Now we're going to actually look at it and see if we see anything different. It's really different drawing from memory versus looking at actual objects, okay? And we call this objects that we set in front of us that are not alive, not moving. We call it still life when we put some things together, and we'll do that too at different times this year. So here is my coffee cup. I'm going to lay it flat just for this view of this camera. And so next to that, draw what you actually see. So what I see is It's a little bit less of an opening. So I'm going to put it at the angle I'm looking at. So I've got a little bit, it's more of an oval shape. I'm making the oval shape with a little bit narrow on each end, okay? Do you see that too? It's kind of pinched at the end, kind of a squashed oval. Comes together at each end, and I'm going to, now this particular cup is wider at the top than it is at the bottom. I am going to create the bottom. I don't really see the inside here. I don't have x-ray vision, so I only see the outside edge, and it's slightly curved. It's almost a straight line. It's not as big as the opening, and I'll make it darker so you can see. So it's shorter. This line is shorter, slightly curved. All right. I'm going to connect the sides. I'm going to make it bow out a little bit. So it's a little bit wider through the middle, kind of curved. All right, so draw what you see. Yours might be a little bit shaped differently, and that's fine. I just want you to draw what you see and get practice at drawing what you see. Something else that we talk about with drawing is trying to observe shapes around you. So in nature, in real life, in my living room, what I'm looking at, I see a lot of shapes. If you're looking around, do you see, I don't know if you have pictures on the walls, picture frames. Pictures are often square shape, rectangle shape. Everything pretty much has a basic shape. And I would like you guys to practice seeing basic shapes in everything that you see. So I'm seeing a lamp which has a similar shape going here. It's got the round lamp shade, that's round. It has kind of a stick shape. I see a candle way off over in the corner that is a cylinder shape similar to our cup here. It's cylinder, round at the top and the bottom. I see a silk flower that has different shapes. Flower petals all have different shapes, but they mostly have slightly rounded shape, right? Just get practice at observing the basic shape of things, okay? So here's my coffee cup. It's a little bit rounded on the outside, much more so than my basic coffee cup that I made over here. The handle. How is your handle attached on your coffee cup? Did you guys finish it already? Go ahead and hold it up. I want to see. Nice. Good job. Yep. Yep. Very good. Nice. Oh, you have a heart on it. Great. Perfect. Yep. So I noticed on this coffee cup, let me get the right angle. Does that have a shape to you? What's that look like to you? A heart? Half a heart? Yep. Yep. I noticed that right away. I thought, oh, I didn't even realize my coffee cups had half a heart shape. So I'm going to make a half of a heart here. All right. This is what I thought most coffee cups look like with a handle like this. Well, this one actually has a true half of a heart shape. It's got that opening on the top, a little bit wide, a little narrower on the ends, slightly curved bottom. All right, now we're going to try something else. And the other kids kind of got a kick out of this. And whether you want to just look at the coffee cup, or you can put this on your lap. Are you at a table? I'm at my drawing table. I need something a little bit heavier. So I want you to put your paper and your pencil under the table and right on your lap. All right, not looking. Okay. We're not going to look at the item or on our paper. We're going to look only at the item. So this is called a blind line drawing. So don't look at your paper. It's got to be hiding underneath. There you go. All right. So doing the same thing that you did looking at that coffee cup, draw that the best you can. It's going to look a little crazy. I'll show you what I drew earlier for the other kids. So get that kind of a squashed oval for the top. I'm doing that. See, I'm not looking at mine at all. I don't even know where I'm starting here. And make the sides where you think the sides might be. No cheating. Make it kind of a curved bottom. It's hard, isn't it? It's really hard. Make a curved bottom. And then where you think you might have put the right side, let's put a handle. Make a curved handle. I'm trying to make a half a heart shape. I don't think it's even attached. All right, you got it? You got that, Autumn? I know I don't see you on the screen, but I know you're there. All right, let's show and tell time. Let's look at this crazy thing. Oh my goodness, and I wrote right over top of my other one. Oh my gosh. All right, I want to see. Show me. How crazy is it? Not too crazy after all. Very good. At least your handle's connected, right? Nice. Sorry. That was really good. All right. Oh, there's Autumn. Oh, yay. Oh, very good. Oh, sweet. Nice job. Was that one hard? That's a little bit hard, wasn't it? Yes.
This one is the first one. This one was the one with the mug.
That is really good. Wow.
I did cross hatching on the one I used with the mug, and you can't see it.
Did you? Oh, good idea. Thank you for reminding me about cross hatches. We will work on that sometime, okay? Now, I didn't even look to see where I was putting my pencil down, and I drew over top, right over top. It looks like my handle did connect, but that's hard, isn't it? It's really hard, but it is really good for eye-hand coordination. It's really good for the right side of the brain. So and that's something that art really helps with you. Helps your brain to be more rounded, well-rounded brain. All right. Now we're going to talk about perspective. I don't know if you're real familiar. You might have heard the word perspective. People have different perspectives on different topics, whatever it happens to be. I'm sure with politics lately, you've heard a lot of different perspectives. In art, we have lots of different perspectives, and we're going to look at this coffee cup from a different perspective, okay? So instead of looking at it from this view, a typical view, I want you to choose a different way to look at it. So you can look at it from the inside, looking at the inside of it with the handle sticking out here. You can look at upside down. I'm going to lay mine flat like this, and we're going to draw it from a different perspective. So let's give that a try here. Now that I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to start in the right place. Let me move that. All right, so I see I still have that opening. It is a similar shape to what I did here. It's narrower at each end because of the perspective, the angle you're looking at. The angle I'm looking at anyways, it's kind of almost comes to a point. Still a squashed oval. And I'm going to have the sides come. God, it's rocking here. The sides are going to gradually, they kind of curve, but they're going to gradually go narrow. And I've got the base. I can't see the back side of the curve, I guess the bottom. I can only see this side of the curve. So the gentle curve here, a gentle curve on the sides, like that. And now, let's see. So I'm looking at the handle from a different direction. And because it is, my drawing board is at an angle, so the handle is preventing it from rolling. I don't know if you guys are on a flat table and you're able to let it set up and look at a different perspective, like maybe this or this. See what you can do. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing. Whoops, I got to turn a little bit. Same thing I did, but it's pretty much the same shape. I still have the full half of a heart for the handle. It attaches down here. And if you want to get a little fancier, if you have a light source from one side, you're going to have shadow on the other side, right? So if you want to create a little bit of shadow as this round coffee cup, as it curves around, you're going to have less light. Now, I've got light coming from all angles, so that'll be a little bit hard for me. But if you have one light source, be really observative and see where there's some shadow coming into play on that coffee cup. Generally, when you have something round, I like to create a round shape by shading or making some short strokes like this, some short marks, okay? If my light source is coming from the front, it's going to have some shading on the top round area as well as the bottom round area. And I like to make that kind of an angle, something like that. So try that and see if you kind of squint your eyes, look at your drawing squinted, with these darker lines on the side of the cup here, does it kind of give it the visualization of roundness because it's shadowed there? I think it does. Inside the cup, if you've got a light coming from the front, it's likely to be dark inside. So I'm going to fill in the inside. Like I said, I've got light coming from all different directions over here. I'm just going to fill in the inside because normally with one light source from the front, you're not going to have light going into the coffee cup. So that's going to be dark as well. All right. I've got a handle here. I think because my handle is rounded as well, yours is likely to be rounded. Let's create a little bit of shading here. I'm just kind of scribbling with this line art. We call just sketches like this line art. We are adding shading into our line art. It helps give round these flat things. The paper is flat, two-dimensional. It gives it visual 3-dimension. So I am kind of scribbling an edge. And if you have a blender, you can even use your fingers. I used to love using my fingers and blending. Once you got the graphite or carbon on here, blend with your finger. You can kind of get it to all blend together like this. It makes it a little more shaded. You can even add more like that. You get dirty, but that's okay. It's cool to get dirty in art. I'm going to blend in a little bit on my mug here. And what else might there be? I kind of see it in all my lights here. Shadow. Do you see a shadow around your coffee cup? You should have a shadow. I don't know if your light is coming from the ceiling or a lamp on a table. I've got a bright light up here giving me a shadow, and I'm going to show you my shadow. Be real observative of where your shadows are on an object, okay? So this, mine actually looks kind of pointy, but it's the way the light is falling on the coffee cup, casting kind of a pointy shadow, which is kind of interesting. So my shadow comes out like this. I actually have two shadows because I've got two lights here. I'm going to do the one shadow. So it has a shadow and then the shadow of the handle. So let's try and create the shadow of the handle as well. Mine is rounded. Here's the shadow mimics. The shape of the shadow mimics the handle. It comes around like so. I've also got, let's see, the handle of the shadow goes over here. And then I've got this other shadow from my other light I'm going to bring here. That kind of comes in like that. So let's just color that in. And then I know we got a little bit late start. I'm going to go over just a little bit so I can get everything in. So that is a shadow. Here's this shadow that's shadowed underneath my coffee cup because there's no light under there. Do you have some good shadow lines to draw? And then show me when you're done. All right, let's see. We didn't get to another exercise. I think I'll skip that and we'll do that next drawing. I do want to practice a figure. So when you get done with the shadow part, let me see. I want to see what you've made and what you've observed. You got it. Yep, I see shadow there. Very nice. Good job, Autumn. April, good. Oh, you did from the top view. Good, good choice. Nice. All right. So that's just giving you some ideas of what to look at when you are, oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, it is. It's curved like that. Sweet. Very good, Autumn. All right. So this is a picture. I might even think about, I told the other kids, I might put one of these, a couple different things in your kit next time, just to give you an idea of proportions, because we're doing a figure painting next time. And figures are not easy. I did one self-portrait, I think over a year ago. And it was really hard of myself. It's hard. People are hard. I love to do pets, but people are hard. So look at the face, and just to get used to proportion, not perspective, proportion. The eyes are basically in the middle of your face, okay? If you divide the face or the head into hemispheres, like the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere of the planet, we're going to do the same thing with the face. So the bottom half of the face has the rest of the features. So if I keep my pencil where the eyes are, it's about halfway. So your nose, the bottom of your nose is generally in the middle of the bottom half of your face, okay? Think about this if you're drawing faces. So the bottom of the nose is about halfway down, the bottom half. The mouth is a little bit below there, not exactly halfway. And so halfway between the bridge of the nose or the eyes and your chin. So that's where your features are. Look at the ears. The ears are, you can even look at each other's, or if you have a mirror handy. Ears pretty much are, the top of the ear is at your eye line, okay? I don't know if when you're a kid you're drawing, you're making ears up here or wherever. You don't really realize how low ears are until you sit and look at them and draw them. So the top of your ear is midline. It's in the middle, kind of even with the eyes. And they go down to close to where the nose is, the tip of the nose. So if the tip of the nose is pretty much in the middle of the lower half of your face. The bottom of your ears are going to line up there as well. Pretty close if you look at mine. My ear. I'm trying to do this one. Okay, so ears and nose are lined up at the bottom. Top of the ear and eyes are kind of lined up there. All right. So keep that in mind, and I'll keep that up here. Put that there so you can still see. Can you see that? I think so. All right. If you need to go to another page in your journal to do this, let's do that. Do you all have access to a mirror, a hand mirror that you could grab real quick? No? Even like a little compact? No? Okay, then let's just look at the Mona Lisa, okay? I want to get you practice seeing proportion on her face. Like I said, this is probably the most famous painting of all times. And they say her eyes follow you. If you move from one side to the other, they kind of follow you. It's kind of weird. So I'm going to create, I'll make it a little bit bigger here. I'm going to create, and we're going to basically make the painting. We're going to draw this painting. So give yourself some space if you want to mark off a rectangle for the painting. I'm going to set her, and we're just going to kind of do a loose, easy sketch of the painting, just to kind of familiarize yourself with the painting. All right, so I'm going to start with, I'm using this whole sheet, this whole half sheet here for the painting, kind of as my frame. I'm going to put her face is kind of it's in the top half of the painting, right? Top half of the painting. I'm going to roughly sketch in an oval shape for her face. And if you notice, the pencils I provided with you do not have an eraser. Do not worry about erasing lines when we're drawing, okay? You can if you want, but that's kind of why drawing pencils are made without an eraser. They just want you to draw. Just draw darker when you get your whole shape in that you like. See, I've got little sketches in the oval shape. Now for her face shape, I am going to darken the line around. All right, so there's her oval face. Now let's look at if we put an X or a cross on her face, her eyes are pretty much mid-line with the top of her head. And if you put one, let's see, I'm even going to just make a X here. Here's a cross. All right, so I am putting her eyes kind of almond shape. Eyes are very different shapes for everybody. I'm making an almond shape for her eyes. It's pointier on each end, and it's in the middle of the left half of her face, and the other one is in the middle of the right half of her face. So you don't have to put the line here. I just want to show you the proportion of where eyes generally go. All right, I put her eyes there. Now I'm going to create her nose. I see that there's a shadowing on the right side of her nose, so I'm going to create kind of the bridge down to the tip of her nose. You can either draw it by line, just a line drawing, or you can create some shadow in place of a line. And I'm going to create the shadow and a little bit of a curve for the nose, okay? Like that, and I'll bring it up closer to the camera. That way. See? Like that, okay? So noses are kind of triangular shaped, and I just shaded the darker side because she's got the shadow on that side. I shaded that, more emphasizing, well, of course now I've got an X in the way. I am going to erase my X. Yes. Yep. Yep. Good. You got it, Autumn. So get back in the middle here. All right, so I'm shading the right side of the nose because she's got the shadow on the right side. She's got a gentle smile, so her lips are closed. Her lips turn up just a little bit on the end. So let's give her a gentle smile, just a little bit of a smile, okay? I even see a little bit of a shadow under her nose. I'm going to kind of scribble a shadow under the nose. I'm going to scribble under, do you see under her lip? Below her lip, between her lip and her chin, there's a shadow under that lip. So you can kind of see the shadow under my lip right there. Let's make a little shadow under that lip. It's a short shadow. You can see mine. Just a little bit of a shadow. Because light is not getting to the underside of the lip there. A little bit of a shadow. I'm just going to do right there. Her neck, you can see the way she's facing. Her shoulders are turned. I'm going to kind of do that with my shoulders. Her shoulders are turned, but her head is also turned out more, right? She's not facing, she's not straight on facing Leonardo as he's painting her. So her shoulders are turned, her head is turned facing him, mostly facing him. That's why you're seeing a little more in the painting here. You're seeing a little more of the right side of her cheek than her left side. We won't worry about that right now. So now I just want you to create a neck. I see a line of the left side of her neck. It's below her chin. It's not very long. And one thing I'd like to show you, a little trick. I like to measure with either my paintbrush or my pencil. I like to measure things. So like if you measure this eye, look at this. Eye is this big. Look at the space between the eyes. It's slightly smaller at the bridge of the nose between the eyes. So that's a really good way to remember proportion. All right, so let's do a little measuring here with your pencil. You can practice. Measure how big you made her eye, one of her eyes. And you can kind of double check with both eyes. Measure with the back of your pencil. See if they're the same. Boom, boom. Yep, mine are pretty close. All right. On the picture, if you can reach, if it's close enough, you can measure there as well. I am making her mouth a slight bit wider than her eye. So her eye is this big. You can make marks on your paper. I'm going to make it slightly bigger than the eye. And this is all proportion, and you'll have a lot more practice with this year. So the gentle smile. We don't see ears, do we? We don't see her ears, but they would probably be starting at where her eyes are. But they're covered up in hair, so we don't have to do ears today. So I'm going to create some hair on her. And with the drawing of the oval face, I'm going to have her hairline be lower than the actual face. So I'm going to start her hairline right about here, okay? Down a little bit. I don't want to make her have too high of a forehead. So I'm going to bring her hair. She kind of has a part. It's almost in the center. So I'm going to bring her hair over, like her bangs will come over, and then the top of her head, we see at this angle, we see the top of her head forward to kind of where her bangs are, the top of her forehead, and we will bring that line down. She has waves that fall to her shoulder. And then this side of her head, we see a little bit more of this side. So we're going to make this a little bit wider. And you can make her hair kind of wavy. This is just for practice with proportioning, okay? So her hair will frame her face on the side, covering that ear, so we don't have to draw an ear. And make some gentle waves as her hair kind of falls to the side like that. This side, it looks like some of it kind of falls behind her shoulder. And then we've got a shoulder here. Some of this, I'm just going to kind of bring some wavy hair. This is on the front of her shoulder. This hair kind of falls behind her shoulder. All right. Now I see, let's see, do you have her neck? I've got her neck here. This is like, if you kind of look, this line of her neck is what I'm seeing. So it goes in front of what's behind here. Like this is actually the trapezius muscle back here. Kind of from your shoulder up to your neck is the trapezius. She has a crease. Do you see a little bit of a shadow or a crease between this line of her neck and her shoulders over here? I see a little bit of a crease there. So this neckline comes down a little bit. I'm going to bring her shoulders and her dress kind of over here. And this is fabric, so fabric is kind of lumpy, bumpy, kind of rolled and folded. And bring that down. I'm creating a shoulder here, a curve of a shoulder, and her upper arm is this space. The fabric on her dress is real loose, and we're going to be painting lots of folds when we do this. I am just going to kind of create the sleeve. All right, so look at her arms though. When you kind of think of proportion, and they're folded in front, they're bent and folded in front of her, one hand over the other. Just roughly, let's draw some creases like this. And we're kind of doing what your sketch is on your canvas. But I'm just going to create some, where I see dark lines in the picture, I'm creating some dark lines to show the folded fabric on her arm. So if you want to do a light line, this fabric is going to turn into her hand. And hands are not easy. I think we've got a thumb, and if you just want to kind of loosely do some fingers, 1, 2, 3, make sure I count the correct number of fingers. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And pinkies are usually smaller and shorter. So we've kind of got they're kind of bent. Hers are bent because they're kind of folded in like so. All right, so it's shadowed. You can even see in this light, the bottom of the fingers here are shadowed. If we draw it like that, they're not necessarily shorter. It's just that they're bent. And that's how we show dimension and shapes with shadowing. So I've got a hand here and her other hand. So let's bring their hand up here to her wrist, and then the fabric kind of starts right at her wrist. All right, this is just a real loose drawing. All right, this arm is right in front of her, and then I think in your sketch on the canvas, it looks like she's leaning on the back of a chair or something. You see a straight, almost looks like wood, kind of a straight line that her arms are on. I'm going to go with that direction. I think it was down here. I don't see it in the picture real well, but I'm going to use that as my guideline for this other arm. So this arm, her hand is over top, the other hand, or actually over her wrist, and this has the fabric, has some kind of lumps here, and it just kind of fades off because the fabric is really dark except for what's right in front. The sleeves are lighter. I'm going to bring this other shoulder down, a little bit of a curve of the shoulder. Really drapey fabric. And the line's just gonna kind of go off because I can't see. I don't know if it's a long dress or what this is. I've got a shoulder. The highlighted shoulder on the front part of the shoulder of this dress is here. I'm going to put a couple lines here. I know the top of the bodice of her dress when I was sketching these. Okay, we get the line, the bodice right in the front here that goes across her chest. This kind of comes across. It's kind of a diagonal line, and it will pick up and go over her shoulder like that. Okay. All right. Does everybody have a second arm in there? I'm going to finish my hand, or other hand. And she's got her arms resting on that wood thing. And then we're going to look at the background quick here, and then we will call it a day. Make some fingers. 1, 2, 3. And we're not seeing her thumb, only the 4 fingers. So we're making 4 fingers that are kind of over whatever this thing is here, down here, the straight line. All right, so there's 2 hands. And let's look quick to the background. You can use that if you want to use that to sketch. Also, if you older kids would like to trace the drawing on your canvas with a Sharpie, you can do that. It will help give you more kind of a, just tracing over those lines helps get it in your head of the proportion of her face and her shoulders and arms. So if you would like to, feel free to go over the lines on your canvas with a Sharpie. All right, let's glance back at the background. A lot of people don't really look at the background in paintings, and I couldn't find where the background actually is. It must have been the city that he was living in. And I think she's up in a balcony because you can see a line on your canvas. I gave you a line. It's like the edge of the balcony she's leaning up against. Let's put that edge in. So we're up, kind of looking down and out into this landscape. And I saw on the top right, I see trees. So there's some trees, squiggly trees to the right of her. Let's put in some squiggly trees. And then where is the horizon line that looks like it's the ocean? I would say that's probably the Mediterranean Sea. It's kind of between, it starts between her eyes and the end of her nose, right? Between the eyes and the nose is about where the horizon line is, where the ocean is. So we're going to bring a line out from there, all right? That's our horizon line. That's where the sky meets the ground or the ocean. We've got the trees here. We've got some other random, it's not real clear to me what all this is. I think there's trees. I think there's some hills in here. Feel free to just kind of make whatever. Make your impression of this. Let's do trees on this side of her, on her left. You can just look at the sketch that I did on the canvas if you like. I think since the ocean is out here, and this is not all ocean, I think it's actually comes up to right about here. There's land. All right, so this water, this inlet from the ocean, looks like it's forming kind of a river. So on the left side of her, we're going to create some, it's not a real straight coastline, I guess. It's kind of curvy, how I guess this river comes inland. So I've got this curvy waterway coming through here. And then we've got some more trees. We've got land. There's like a mountain. Go ahead and create a little bit of mountain here. Now, in the midground, I say the back here is the background. This is the midground and she is actually in the foreground. She is in our foreground. I see a road. Do you see a road on the left? I think I kind of see it on the right a little bit. I didn't notice as much. But where this mountain is, at the low point of the mountain here, there's a road that comes through here, a curvy road. And we're just going to kind of create a curvy road that comes from the mountain and it goes behind her, by her shoulder. So let's kind of create kind of a snake. And it curves around like that. All right, so we see ocean. We see it kind of go into an inlet of maybe a river. We see trees. I see some hills, mountains. I see a road, as well as this balcony that she's leaning up against. All right, so there's a lot of stuff going on in this picture. If you don't really take time to notice it, it's more than just a girl posing for a picture. We've got a pretty cool landscape back there. So this week, well, actually the next 2 weeks, we will paint in 2 weeks on the 29th, I believe. Next couple weeks, will you guys take a little time and set up your own still life, whether it's a coffee cup, a water bottle, different shaped objects. I've got a weird shape here. Look at my gum. So it's square on the top. Let me get the right direction. A square on the top and round on the bottom. And get some different shaped objects. Just put like maybe 3 or 4 set up and draw them. We call this still life. And work on some still lifes on your own in your journal, okay? I'd love for you to show me next time. I really hope you can try and fill up this art journal. We have 5 months to work in it, and I kind of planned at least 3 front back pages for you to draw. That gives you a few more pages left, so work in that and do practice. Practice drawing really helps your painting. So I love painting. Painting is what I kind of specialize in, and I'm super excited to get back and paint. So we'll paint with the whole group on the 29th at 10 o'clock, okay? I think you might have other classes, Autumn. I can't remember if it's the 10 o'clock painting that interfered with class. It is, okay. So you'll be able to, this is always recorded, and I will send your mom the link to my YouTube channel that has all our class recordings, okay? And you'll be able to paint. I'm sorry you'll be missing painting with us, but it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. So what did you think today so far, you guys? Because you 3 are very new. The little kids have been doing this for a while. Oh my word, girl. Wonderful. Good. You're going to have a lot of fun in this class. Well, I'm really excited. Got some real artists here. You guys, I think, care more. I think the little kids enjoy it, but I think, oh my gosh, look at that. Nice job. Wow. Wow. You might be able to teach me a thing or two. Well, this is wonderful. I'm so glad you guys are into this. All right. Well, I'm going to quit recording this so you guys can get on with your day. It's Friday. Woohoo! Time to take a break and get some practice drawing, okay? All right. I will see you at the next class in 2 weeks. We'll paint. All right. Take care. Bye.